You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm going to bring you 7 specific lifestyle tips that you can use to increase energy in your life. This is going to cost you $0 to implement, and if you stick with them, they will pay dividends in your life, because without energy, it is difficult to do anything. So if you want to improve your career, if you want to improve your relationships, you want to do more, be more, any of those things, you need more energy. So what I want to share with you today, 7 simple things, honestly, that I found over the years that will be tremendously helpful to anyone looking to improve their energy. So what I'm going to do is give you the 7 tips, add a little bit of color behind each reason and why, and then, of course, feel free to leave your tips as well right over on Instagram, just at My Daily Post, and my name is just Stephen Cabral, spelled with a PH. You can head on over there and give me your best ones as well. I'd love to hear them. So what I want to do, again, I'm going to share these 7 tips with you, give you a little reasoning why I chose it, and I think that you'll find that there'll be multiple benefits from each one given. But again, these are easy to implement. They cost you $0, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from them. So the first one is this. The first tip is eat enough protein. Now, you've heard me say before, don't go overboard in protein. Don't eat more than 19% of your diet from protein. Be careful how much animal-based protein that you're eating. Be careful how much red meat you're eating, especially if it is conventionally raised, which means that it's not grass-fed, it's not green-finished, that we are not eating healthy-based animals. So let's watch out overall the total protein consumption, but there are so many people on a vegan-based diet and other diets that are not watching the protein, that are just assuming they're getting enough protein because they're eating so-called healthy, in air quotes. So I just want to share with you, it's very easy to pick up any app that you like and just plug into it what you're eating on a daily basis. And if you are not eating about half your body weight, so half your body weight in pounds, so half your body weight in protein per day, you're most likely falling short. So what does that mean? Well, let me go back to my typical person, 160 pounds. That means they would need about 80 grams of protein per day. Now, that's if there was someone that was exercising, they had a pretty active lifestyle. That's going to be great. If you're not so active, well, I'd love you to be more active, but if you're not, well, then you'll need probably somewhere more near the 60 grams to 70 grams per day, and that's going to be good for you. That will be enough. So what I want to make sure, though, is that you're not falling short of that 60 grams per day. Almost no one can get away with really less than that 60 grams. And the reason is that protein is used for all the vital functions of the body. It's what helps to rebuild and rejuvenate your body. Those amino acids are needed for all the different transactions that happen inside of your body. And if there's not enough protein, your body's going to become what's called catabolic. It's going to start to break down. That includes organ tissue. That includes your vision, your eyesight, your brain. Even though the brain is 90% fat, it still needs the rest of your body functioning well in order for it to function well too. So highest recommendation, go back to some of my previous podcasts. You can just type in how much protein do you need per day. You can type in my daily recipe. You can find all sorts of different podcasts there on those. But it's as simple as if you're eating 3 meals a day, which most people should be, then you can simply get 15 to 20 grams, really 20 grams at each meal, and you'll end up with 60 grams for the day. It's not difficult. You can do it on a vegan-based diet. You can do it on a Mediterranean-based diet with no meat. You could do it on a diet with meat, with a paleo-based diet. Easy to make it happen. You just have to make sure that you're tracking. If you are someone who is feeling low, who's feeling tired, who's feeling depleted, it could be that you're not getting enough protein. All right, number 2 is this. I call it following the threes. I wanted to create a whole podcast around it, but I decided I would just roll it into today's because I have so many podcast topics already developed that I'd love to bring to you. I'm rolling the follow the threes into this show. So it's don't eat within 3 hours of your last meal and finish your last meal 3 hours before bed. Okay, let me break that down for you. Let's say your breakfast is at 8 a.m. You should not eat again until at least 11 a.m. And for most people, I like to go longer than that. I like to go that 4 or 5 hours between meals to make sure that the food is completely digested, that's moved through at least the first part of the digestive tract, but more importantly, that blood sugar levels have stabilized. You've tapped back into burning body fat as your main fuel source, at least if you're sedentary at the time, that you are back to an anti-inflammatory based state. So, ideal world, don't eat within 3 hours of your last meal. So if you're someone that's snacking throughout the day, that counts. A snack is eating food. So if you're eating at 10 o'clock and you just ate at 8 o'clock, unless you're on a specific nutrition plan created by a specialist in dietary nutrition, then I would not be following that plan. Again, there's a time and place for everything. There was a time and place when I ate every 2.5 hours, when I was having really small amounts of food, just enough, kept my body burning body fat, more when I was back in the fitness day. But really, for overall health, it's still not the best for overall health. So what we want to do is really make sure that you are going at least 3 hours between meals, ideally somewhere more around the fashion of 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then 5 to 6 o'clock or so at night, and then 3 hours before bed. Well, if you're ending your last meal at 6 o'clock at night, you're going to be good to go before bed. But either way, just make sure, in order to have a nice deep sleep, in order to get that deep sleep, you want to make sure that you finished your last meal 3 hours before bed. Because remember, it's not just the amount of hours that you're in bed, but it's the quality of the sleep. And the quality of the sleep will not be improved if you're eating close to bed and your body is working on digesting food, using energy for digestion, when it should be focused on repair and rejuvenation overnight. All right, number 3 is stop eating foods that cause you inflammation. This is a specific topic that I love chatting about because this goes well beyond just sugar. People are like, oh yeah, don't eat sugar. Well, yes, you should not eat Twizzlers and you shouldn't eat, peanut M&Ms and you shouldn't eat candy. There's no doubt about it. We don't want to be eating the foods that we know are egregious, and ice cream, those types of things. But we also want to look at the foods that are our inflammatory-based triggers. So I've said it before, I don't do well with nightshades. I just don't do well with tomatoes, with eggplant, with a lot of peppers. They just don't work well with my body. And so because of that, though, I've learned over the years that those things create inflammation. Some people don't do well with dairy, just like most people don't do well with dairy, yet they keep eating it, telling themselves that they need it for calcium or they need it for vitamin D or whatever the reason is. But the problem is, if we keep eating foods that cause inflammation, it's going to wear us down. I mean, inflammation is the thing that is just like that drip of water every second of the day on top of, let's just say, your forehead. After a while, it becomes really annoying, and then it begins to cause some serious issues. So what we want to do is this. We want to make sure that although we might love certain foods, they may not love us back. And because of that, we just simply realize that we're an individual, that we have our own unique needs, and we have our own unique issues that we have to be aware of. So if you don't do well with grains, don't eat grains. Just if someone tells you that oatmeal is great, well, yes, it can be great for people with cholesterol, with blood pressure, even with diabetes, all sorts of issues. But if oatmeal doesn't work with you because you don't do well with grains right now, then don't eat oatmeal. So there is no one food that you need to eat. And I try to share that with people quite often because we're in a time now where there's so many superfoods, right? And it's like you have to eat these foods in order to be healthy. Well, you don't. There's no one food that you need to eat in order to be healthy. Even my beloved broccoli. You don't have to eat broccoli in order to be healthy. It helps, but again, if you're sensitive to it, then it's not the best for you. Now, I'll go on the flip side of this. If you're someone that's sensitive to all vegetables and all carbs, well, that's not a sensitivity. That's an actual digestive dysfunction. And at that point, you absolutely either want to run your labs or you want to begin to correct that gut microbiome. But either way, you need to stay away from the inflammatory, the trigger-based foods in the beginning, heal the gut, and then about 12 to 16 weeks later, for sure, you'll be able to start reintroducing those as you've rebuilt that gut microbiome. All right, number 4 is avoid blue light at night. Yes, blue light can drain you of your energy. How is that possible? Well, your body works on a natural circadian rhythm. That means basically your body should be able to discern day from night. Now, here's the interesting thing. Our body has innate insight into what should function within the body during the day and then what should happen at night. It turns down non-critical functions that should be used during the day at nighttime so they can turn on deeper repair, detoxification, and more anabolic processes, which is the rebuilding, at night. So if your body is seeing light at night, certainly UVB rays, blue light, all of that is going to be an issue. So why does that matter? Well, it matters for a few points. That even if you say, okay, well, I'm just going to sleep, I'll be asleep at 10 o'clock and I'll wake up at 6. That's great. But if you look at that, that's 8 hours, not 12. Now remember, we're diphasic. So there's 2 parts to our day. It's about 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 a.m., maybe more so in the winter, to even less, at night, 6 p.m. at night. And then during the summertime, it might be more like 5:36 until about 8 o'clock at night. But just keep in mind, there are rhythms to our body. There's natural rhythms. So we look at that with the fall, yes, in line with nature. But we want to understand is that our body should be in at least subdued darkness, so just not bright light after the sun has set. So very simple, which is almost no cost, is wear blue blocking glasses. That's a one-time purchase that you can purchase pretty much anywhere. Of course, we have them at Equilibrium Nutrition, but you can also use light bulbs that are more on the red spectrum, and they're actually pretty cool. We use salt lamps, and we use, one of my rooms, I have more of that, an amber light. That's this just beautiful red glow amber. And that's really nice in the bedroom so that you make sure that there's no blue light in there. So that's what I'm recommending. Super simple to do, wearing blue blockers at night, just dimming the lights or keeping off non-essential lights. We have little salt lamp night lights just to brush teeth at night with our girls. So I'm really big on that, is that I'm trying to set the tone for them going to bed, that it's not bright lights and all that. It's like, okay, we're getting ready for bed now. We're turning down the lights, we're calming our bodies. And I'm telling that the whole time, like, listen, we need to relax now. Just like a lot of parents, it's the bedtime routine. Why do you have more energy now than you have the entire day? So that's one great way to do it, is to reduce that. And we also have little blue blocking glasses for our daughters as well. They're so cute, and you can get them as well. I mean, they're not a big investment for sure. Maybe they'll wear them, maybe they won't, but at least it's a fun thing to do as a family if you can get your kids to wear them. So if you avoiding blue light at night. So I'm going to give you 7 topics today. Just understand that there are multiple podcasts that I have on each one of these if you want to go more in depth. So my podcasts are about 22 minutes long. You can go back and you can find a 22-minute podcast, probably times 5 to 10 for each one of these topics if you'd like more in-depth knowledge on any one of them. Okay, the next one is no caffeine after 1 p.m. I know, I said it. Not a lot of people will be happy about this one, but no caffeine after 1 p.m. Here's the reason why. It has a half-life for many people of 6 hours. Now, some people genetically are fast oxidizers of caffeine. Some are slow oxidizers. What does it mean? How fast does your liver process it? Some people feel like they can drink coffee before bed and fall asleep. And yes, they do fall asleep. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. Again, lab testing always tells me if it's good or bad. I get to see what their cortisol levels look like. Are they high at night and then low in the morning? Well, that's not a very good sign. That is someone who's beginning to fall into a burnout-based pattern. High cortisol at night and low cortisol in the morning, that is what I call a walking zombie. I was there for many, many years. Not ideal. So here's the thing. You drink caffeine at 2 o'clock. For sure, it'll, for most people, probably still be in your system, working its way through at 8 o'clock at night. I would rather you be well on your way to dropping cortisol levels for sure by hopefully its lowest peak at 9:30 p.m. and beginning to raise those natural melatonin levels, which natural melatonin will not only improve your levels of deep sleep, REM sleep, but also, and I'll be talking about this much more in the future, it will actually improve mitochondrial biogenesis, which is your ability to create more powerhouses inside of each cell. So super exciting in the area of mitochondrial biogenesis, our body's ability to make more energy-based bacteria inside of the cells. So I will share more on that in the future, but just again, I'm just a big advocate really of not going above the 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine per day. I much more recommend it in the morning, and I even actually recommend it more so with breakfast or after breakfast than before breakfast, because I just don't want to see that spike in adrenaline or norepinephrine or cortisol from taking caffeine on an empty stomach. Yes, you can show studies on fat burning. Yes, you can show studies on all sorts of different things, but I would much prefer the caffeine with breakfast to blunt it just a little bit for that spike in heart rate or anything like that, or after breakfast. And so that's my recommendation, and hopefully you'll begin to implement that one in your life as well. And even better for caffeine, if you're having any after lunch, would be more of a green tea rather than coffee. Okay, the next one is number 6. Number 6 is bed by 10, up at 6. Now, I alluded to this earlier, and I have many, many shows in this. So I know there'll be a lot of naysayers that say, no. Some people have naturally higher cortisol levels at night. They're natural night owls. And to that I say, I disagree, and the science does not back that up. That is what's called a dysfunctional diurnal rhythm. So a lab test will certainly back up those results. There's no doubt about it. But it is a dysfunctional diurnal rhythm. And that's because the human body was not meant to stay up throughout the darkness. So for one, there's no productivity throughout the night for a human being. So take away all the electricity. Remember, electricity isn't that old. In terms of the, let's say, 6 million years of true human evolution for where we're at right now, you're not seeing electricity as a blip on the radar. So what this means is we would have eaten our last meal while it was still most likely a little light out, or at least towards dusk. And then we would have hid away in whatever our shelter was, or if there was houses with candlelight, fine. You could certainly work by a little bit of candlelight, but you were waking up with the sun. The days of the room darkening shades and blinds and all of those things, that's fairly recent. So what we want to take into consideration is that if we follow the natural diurnal rhythm of our bodies and we stay more in tune with nature, there's no doubt in my mind you're going to be able to increase energy. And you say, well, how long? About 3 weeks. If you get into bed by 9:30, you're asleep by 10, you wake up around 6, you're going to have more energy. Now, I want you to do this, though, every day for 3 weeks. And if you do it every day for 3 weeks, your body then starts to realize, oh, this is our new natural bedtime. You can use our deep sleep protocol if you need to get into bed and fall asleep because you're not used to getting to sleep that early. You can follow my protocol of working back 15 minutes each week until you get back to a 10 p.m. bedtime. So meaning that if you're going to bed typically at midnight right now, okay, this week, 11:45, okay? After this, next week, 11:30 p.m. The following week, 11:15. And you'll just work back because your body won't notice the 15 minutes and you'll get 15 minutes more sleep. That's it. Okay, you can still wake up the normal time whenever you're waking up. And then you'll work back your waking time a little bit. I'm telling you right now, not only you're going to get to bed earlier, you don't need to watch whatever the shows are at midnight or so. Remember, TV now allows you to watch any show, anytime, anywhere. So watch it when you want to watch it. And the other part is this. By waking up a little bit earlier in the morning, you're going to be waking up when normal cortisol is rising, normal thyroid is rising, and you're going to get a little bit of a dopamine boost as well. All of these things are going to give you natural energy. You don't want to miss that. If you wake up past 8 a.m., you're going to miss that natural dopamine or natural cortisol rise that you typically have between 6 and 8 in the morning. It's there, but you're not going to get your biggest boost. So really work with nature. Don't fight it. I just feel that as humans, we've gone too far away from being in touch with nature. And because of that, we have far less energy. All right, number 7 is this. Routines decrease stress and make you feel as though you have control over your life. So what do I mean by this? So I want you to get into habits and routines, so that you don't have to waste any energy on all the multiple decisions you need to make during the day. I did a podcast on this, is really removing all of the different clutter in your mind. It's something that we call bandwidth or brain space. So people say, do you wear a white shirt every day? And I say, yes, I wear a white shirt every day, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, I just wear whatever I want on the weekends. So they say, well, why do you wear a white shirt every day of the week? And I say, well, then I don't have to worry about what I'm wearing. I just have a bunch of pants. I pick out a pair of pants. I put on a white shirt. All the white shirts the same. And I put on my shoes, put on my belt, and I'm good to go. That's it. I've got one winter coat, really simplifying my life. That's it. And so now I don't have to worry about what I'm wearing. Now, you might not be into that. That's totally okay too. People say, well, why do you have pretty much the same breakfast every morning? So they don't have to worry about what I'm having for breakfast every single morning. I go to bed at the same time pretty much every single night. Now, a lot of people might say, well, that sounds boring. Well, the truth is it's not, because you get to accomplish a whole lot more because you don't have to spend any time on your regular day in and day out choices. That's it. So I don't have to make a choice for breakfast and lunch. I already know what they are. I already know what they are because I go to the same 2 or 3 places for lunch right outside of my work. That's it. So it makes it super easy. I do my lunchtime walk. Okay, I know that I'm getting that in. I have the days that I'm exercising. I already know the times. I've written out the workouts. And now all of the other fun and excitement can come from my work, all the people that I get to meet, the podcasts I get to record, all the interviews that I get to do, all the events I get to speak at, all the travel, then of course all the time with my family. And then I reserve the weekends for anything goes. You know, my wife's like, oh, are you free this Saturday at whatever time? I say, the weekends are our family time. So like, whatever. You want me to go to this 2-year-old's birthday party? Okay, let's go to this 2-year-old's birthday party if that's the plan. So, I mean, that's the thing. Don't waste energy on decisions that you need to make on a daily basis. If it's a repetitive decision that needs to be made daily or weekly, just set it in stone. Do not give yourself the ability to have to agonize over what are trivial-based decisions like breakfast and lunch. Pick out a few foods that you like. Make it what you eat. A smoothie is super simple to do. Some people make an acai bowl. Some people make oatmeal. Whatever you want to do, make it simple. Pick out a couple of food options that are healthy around you, or make it and bring in a glass bowl or a mason jar, whatever you want for lunch. Now you're good to go. Set up your workout times that you know you can stick to. Just keep things super simple. Wake up at the same time. Do the same morning routine. The same routine before bed. It's non-mundane. You'll absolutely love it. Why? Because you'll be accomplishing so much more than you thought was possible. You'll actually have so many more hours left in the day because you'll have so much more energy. You'll want to do more because you didn't waste any bandwidth, any time. No time wasted, because now you have rhythms and routines, which is one of the biggest things I found to get my health back, to rebound my energy levels, and it's why I wanted to pass them on to you today. So thank you so much for tuning into the Cabral Concept. As always, I appreciate you. I thank you. As always, if you could share this show with anyone you believe it could help, that would be tremendous. Thank you so much. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.